Hey guys, it's Sarah here from Accessorize Designs, and this little tutorial is to show you how I do the sleepy eye on the mini ragdolls. So we're using the same concept that we did for the larger ragdolls, except the eye is sort of inverted. So instead of going up and then having the little lashes, we're just going to go down and make like a half moon the other way. So what I've got here is I have my Premier Parfait yarn. You can use any worsted weight or thread or whatever you want to use to make this. And I've just got a regular yarn needle, and I use ones with a blunt end. So I have about 12 inches of yarn here. Should be plenty for what we're doing. All right, so this is my little unicorn here, and what we're gonna do is, I think we're gonna start around this part right here, and I kind of use the stitches as a guide for where my sleepy eyes are gonna go. So you see, we've got our nostrils, and we're kind of just up a little bit outside of those nostrils there, and we're about a round and a half up. Now, some of the other minis, I've started their eyes like right down beside their muzzle. It just depends on the animal, depends on the look you're going for. But for this little unicorn, we're gonna go and start her eye here. So we're gonna insert our needle, and we're gonna go under 1, 2, 3. Let's go under 4 stitches there. So pull that through. You want to leave a tail a couple inches there just to make sure it doesn't all pull through on us. And then we're going to come back up and insert our needle through the same space again. Now what we're doing is this piece of yarn that's coming back across, this is what's going to make up most of your sleepy eye down here. What we're going to do is we inserted our hook again, or our needle in the same spot, and then we're coming up one stitch sort of down and in from where we exited before. And you got to make sure that this piece of yarn that came across stays underneath your yarn. Just like that. You don't want to pull this too tight because we want this to kind of sit and give us that nice round shape. So we came up this way, this stitch, and then we're going to go back down the same stitch. So that'll make our yarn go around this first piece that came across. It makes it go around it and kind of hold it in place without really making it like have a choppy appearance. And then, so we're inserting our needle into this same stitch that we just came out of. And then we're going to come back up 2 stitches later, making sure again that this other piece of yarn, this big piece that came across at the beginning, is at the underneath it. Okay, then we're going to come up. You don't want to pull too tightly because you don't want to lose that round shape that we've got. And then you're going to insert your needle back into the same spot. Now, if you want, you can have it come back up and start the next eye over here, or you can have it come back out the corner over here. I think we're going to do some eyelashes on this one. So if we come up over here in this corner, and then we can kind of have one little eyelash at the side. So we'll go back down let's go 2 stitches. And come back up again in this same far corner. And then we'll go back down. See, we're coming across. And we're going to come down and in a little bit for our next eyelash. And then we're going to go straight into our next eye. So this will create the second little piece of eyelash. And then we're going to come up way over here. So you've got about 3 stitches or so in between your eyes. We'll come up over here and start our second eye. You can feel free to just come back up here and end off this eye and start the second eye separately. Or you can keep going. So I think we're going to have enough yarn to finish off here. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. So what we can do, we can play with this a little bit. So we can pull that first eyelash to make it a little bit smaller. It might be a little bit big. Pull down that second one. And now this video is just sort of a guideline to show you how I make my sleepy eyes, but feel free to play around with it and see what works for you. So we skipped over, so we'll start our second eye, and to begin the first eye, we skipped over 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to insert our needle back into that stitch, 4 stitches away, and then we're going to come up this stitch that's just sort of down and in one. And again, this big piece of yarn that's coming across here, that is going to be the main part of your eyelid or your eye. So we want to make sure that piece stays curved, but is still pulled snugly. So you get kind of play around with it a bit. So we've come up on this side, like the top side of that piece of yarn. Then we're going to go back down the bottom of it to kind of tack it in place there without losing the curve. And then we're going under 2 stitches. You can see there, under our 2. Make sure your yarn is underneath, like towards the neck. There we go. And then you're going to insert your needle. You're going around that first big piece of yarn. So you're inserting your needle into there, and we need to do 2 more eyelashes. So we're going to come back out at this top corner here. Okay, so see how we've managed to keep the curve in the eye. Now you can use your needle to kind of play with it a little bit. Make sure it's sitting the way you want. And then we skipped over 2 stitches here to make the eyelash for the other side. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. And then when you're inserting your needle for the last little eyelash, I like to come back out where we started in the first eye. And this is where I tie off my yarn and then poke it through the back of the head. So to tie it off, I use a square knot to go one way, and then you got to make sure whatever way you've tied your knot, you have to come back the opposite way. So that will secure your yarn. And then I'm going to use my needle and I'm going to pull those pieces through to the back of the head. They won't that. Okay, right. And push it through to the back of the head. And we'll take off the little pieces that have kind of shedded as we've gone. And there we go. We've got our little unicorn eyes. And she's all ready to go. I hope this helps, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.